Okay, for everybody who has not gotten their dessert yet, all of us good ladies need to get dessert. Okay. Are we all satiated? I would like to introduce Cassie McDuff, who's going to give our thought for the month. Now, for all of you who are new or who are guests, I'd like to explain a little bit about this thought for the month. We started doing it, I don't know, a few years ago. Tony, wasn't it when you were president? No? It's been many years. Okay. All right, Tony, I give you credit. It's a really good one of our one of those things that we do, a tradition, that's the word. And somebody volunteers each month. So I'm saying this because some of us have been the major volunteers, and I want to see some other people volunteer and give the thought for the month. It's kind of fun to do, and it can be really something that you're thinking about, something that's on your mind, something that's in the news, something historical, whatever you decide you want to do. But for today, Cassie McDuff is going to do the thought for the month. So I'd like you to give her a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. As you probably know, last Saturday was a day of national protest against the Texas abortion ban at 6 weeks, no exceptions, including for incest or rape. And there was a demonstration in Redlands too. I was there. Some of you were there. It was nice to see you. So today, it seems that the US Supreme Court is about ready to overturn Roe v. Wade and allow states to ban abortions outright, possibly. So I bring you a thought for the day from the late, great Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RBG. 2 quotes. The first is from one of her famous dissents, when in 2007, the court on a 5-4 vote upheld the so-called partial birth abortion ban. In Gonzalez v. Carhart, Ginsburg said, "The court deprives women of the right to make an autonomous choice, even at the expense of their safety. This way of thinking reflects ancient notions about women's place in the family and under the Constitution, ideas that have long since been discredited." The other is from a concurring opinion. In Whole Woman's Health v. Hellerstedt in 2016, RBG said, "When a state severely limits access to safe and legal procedures, women in desperate circumstances may resort to rogue practitioners at great risk to their health and safety." And she might have added, and fertility in some cases. She had to keep reminding her fellow justices, at least men, what is at stake in these cases. Now, 50 years after Roe v. Wade, so do we, the people. Thank you.
I'd now like to introduce Sue Wallace, who is going to be doing the presentation for tonight. Sue is our past president. She was president last year and did a wonderful job during the pandemic, where we had to find new ways of meeting, and it really was quite successful. I think I said this before, but I've been to several meetings of other branches that have, gotten together. And ours has been among the most successful in California. So we should be very proud of ourselves. And Sue, you should be very proud of yourself. So thank you.
Good evening. Obviously, we had a rough year last year during the quarantine, and tonight we're going to celebrate the successes that we had during the year despite our limitations. So fortunately, when all of this started coming down, I had already begun to use Zoom even before the September meeting and knew a little about it. I did some more research and I realized that we could use their webinar format for our branch meetings since we couldn't hold them in person. I recommended to the board that we purchase a Zoom membership that would give us access to their webinar program, and the board concurred. So we held our first branch meeting on webinar in September using the webinar, and it seemed to work anyway for us. So I asked for some feedback from the board members and from the members themselves about what had happened at that meeting and how it went. And I got some pretty positive results back. The only thing that I got back that was a criticism was that there were several people that said what they missed was the social time that we had before each meeting. So at that point, I decided what we needed to do for each of the meetings was to have two meetings. One, the social time meeting just on Zoom itself, where everybody could see each other and everybody could visit back and forth with each other. And then a second meeting, which was the webinar itself, where we would host a guest speaker or a program of some kind for everybody to be able to see. So that's what we did for the rest of the year, is that for each branch meeting that we had the social time at the beginning. And that first social time meeting that we had in October was wonderful because we had so many members that decided to join us, and everybody had such a good time visiting and talking with each other and catching up with each other. We continued to have the board meetings on Zoom as well, and that worked so well that we have decided, I think Eric has decided this year to continue with the Zoom board meetings, because sometimes we found that there were people who were on vacation somewhere or out of town or whatever, and it was difficult for them to get to the board meeting. And on Zoom, they could attend the board meeting wherever they were. And so we have continued to have the board meetings on Zoom, and that seems to be working really, really well. For those members, we tried to keep up with everyone as best we could, either through email or through the branches and twigs. If you didn't have an email, then we tried contacting you by telephone or by snail mail, just to get the information to you that we thought you would need. And that seemed to work really well as also. So as a result of Zoom, we were able to continue with many of our activities. So tonight, we're going to celebrate in person those programs, interest groups, and projects that we were able to continue during the quarantine. We're going to begin by celebrating one of our biggest projects each year, the STEM Initiative. Catherine Brown, who was the chair last year and is also the chair this year of STEM, is going to come forward, and she's got some special guests I think she wants to introduce to you as well, and tell you about the successes of the STEM program that we had last year, though, that we had to do it online. Okay, Catherine? Yeah. Yeah, just give me the signal.
Thank you, Sue. It's my pleasure to introduce as our honored guests this evening from the Redlands Unified School District, first, Dr. Ken Wagner, the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Wes Cullen. Hey, raise your hand. And then we have Wes Cullen, the principal of Clement Middle School, and Deepika Srivastava, the district's STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math, and Innovation Coordinator. Since 1995, the partnership between AAUW Redlands, the Redlands Unified School District, and the University of Redlands has enabled thousands of Redlands girls to travel to the U of R campus when they're 8th graders to meet and hear from working women about how they use STEM in their careers. The girls have always come away amazed to learn how many different careers require STEM knowledge. Me too, and many of our AAUW volunteer members are amazed to find all that out. Just weeks after we completed our STEM conference at the U of R in February of 2020, the onset of the pandemic brought an indefinite halt to both face-to-face instruction and field trips, such as the STEM conference for the Redlands Unified School District. In September 2020, faced with multiple uncertainties, our AAUW Redlands STEM Committee, meeting on Zoom, which was still a challenging novelty for most of us, struggled to find a meaningful way to present our 2021 conference. We decided to develop a series of YouTube videos featuring our speaker volunteers. Enter Deepika, who, when told about our videos, said, "Why not do it live and interactive?" She explained, the online learning environment, interactive is the best way to get and keep students' attention, which is our biggest challenge during the pandemic. She made it sound, as my grandmother would have said, easy as pie, or maybe a piece of cake. Okay, the result was that in March 2021, Redlands Unified School District 8th grade girls were presented with the opportunity to attend a live virtual STEM conference. The STEM committee and Deepika recruited and equipped 30 women with the virtual tools to lead 45-minute workshops in 16 virtual classrooms. In addition to attending 3 virtual workshops, all the girls heard about STEM education opportunities close to home from women representatives at the University of Redlands and Crafton Hills College. This screenshot was taken during the opening welcome session, which included an address from Redlands Unified School District Superintendent Arellano, as well as then AAUW Redlands President Sue Wallace. After the conference was completed, we realized that participation virtually had resulted in more Redlands girls attending our 2021 conference that did our face-to-face conference in 2020 and 2019. Deepika summed it up well. It's a lot of work to put something like this together, but seeing kids learning, enjoying, and reaching out makes it all worthwhile. Many of our STEM speakers from past years, including our honored guest for tonight, physician assistant, Dr. Heather Ontiveros, Heather, and Lieutenant Commander Rachel Tolber of the Redlands Police Department, made it clear that they were ready to do what was needed to provide a STEM conference experience for our class of 2021 8th grade girls. The RUSD girls were covered by the virtual STEM conference, but their technology could not extend to the girls from the Grove School, Yucaipa, Beaumont, and Banning. For them, the YouTube video option was the next best choice. With the help of the University of Redlands Academic Computing and Instructional Technology Services, represented here tonight by our honored guest, Audio Visual Services Manager Luis Garcia. Well, you all saw him at the beginning. He's been helping us for many years with our conference, but this year was a different hat in the video department. And a number of speakers like Dr. Ontiveros and Lieutenant Tolber, who provided their own videos. The STEM committee filled our YouTube channel with approximately 4 hours of STEM programming, including titles like Impact the World Around You, Use Art and Technology to Create Multimedia, Becoming a Unicorn, Women in Law Enforcement, and What is a Physician's Assistant Anyway? Along with informational and welcoming videos from both Mount San Jacinto and Crafton Hills College. Women from regional employers such as Esri, Sorensen Engineering, Outback Physical Therapy, the San Bernardino Symphony, University of California, Riverside, and the Rivers and Lands Conservancy contributed videos. One video, Storytelling with ArcGIS Maps, was created by Jennifer Bell of Esri and 13-year-old Evie Smith, the granddaughter of AAUW Redlands member Sharon Beeler. The STEM committee developed a SurveyMonkey questionnaire to solicit comments from our video viewing faculty and students. The responses from our regional educators were enthusiastic. Some of them are on the screen. At one middle school, a team of teachers worked together to hold a virtual 5-hour STEM conference via Zoom, including 10 breakout rooms and all participants, the principal, facilitators, and students having lunch together, just like they would have if we'd had our face-to-face conference. At another school, classes viewed the introductory videos together, with each student choosing 3 additional videos as homework. Another school had both boys and girls watch 2 videos in one class period and discuss the pros and cons of each profession, encouraging the students to follow up and earn extra credit by viewing additional videos. One of the few silver linings of a virtual video conference was the school's ability to choose to include both boys and girls. One of the most popular videos, according to girls, boys, and educators alike, was Amber Price's A Girl's Guide to Finding Herself and Finding Success. Her key message, that the 2 most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. The comments from the students themselves, which you can see on the screen, let us know our videos worked well in terms of continuing to send the AAUW messages Redlands has championed with our STEM conferences for the past 26 years, chief of which is, girls can do anything if they put their mind to it. Thank you.
And I want to thank Catherine and her group for doing all of that, because fortunately they were so good at it, I didn't need to do much, and that was great in a time when things were not going well all the way around. All right, another project that we sponsor each year is sending several middle school girls to the Tech Trek each summer. As you know, they could not hold the Tech Trek conference in person in the summer of 2020, but they held an online version. Marilyn Shankar, who was and is the chairwoman of that project, is going to tell us about the success of the project last year, and she has some important guests that she wants to introduce. Marilyn?
Tech Trek has been an AAUW program for more than 20 years. It used to send the girls that we chose at the end of 7th grade to an in-person camp at either UC San Diego or Whittier College. at that camp, the girls lived in the dorms like they were college students. They ate in the cafeteria and could pick what they wanted to eat. And they worked in the science labs on campus. Due to the pandemic, of course, all that had to change. And so AAUW of California and Qualcomm Company in San Diego designed a virtual camp. And the girls worked from home and participated with like-minded girls on Zoom. The girls selected for the 2020 camp were included as well as those from the 2021 camp. In 2020, I think one of the girls who you'll meet in a minute, she was one of the last girls selected because the day that we interviewed her was the day they shut down California. Anyway, they didn't have anywhere to go that year, but this year we included them. So we had 7th graders and 8th graders at the camp. This year, there were 647 campers in California, and there were 229 volunteers. Redlands branch sent 11 girls from Nicollet Middle School in Banning, and from San Gregorio Middle School in Beaumont, and from Clement here in Redlands. We also had one of our esteemed members be a volunteer. So we were happy to have Heather be part of it all. There were over 40 hours of STEM activities with 75% of it hands-on. The core project was to construct wearable tech inventions, which included 15 hours of coding. The first girl I'd like you to meet is Petra Rathfelder. Come up, Petra. And she is an 8th grader at San Gregorio Middle School in Beaumont. And she's going to tell you about her exciting times.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. It's such a great opportunity. I'm so glad I was able to. Well, during Tech Trek, I took so many valuable opportunities and I took so much from it, but something that really was amazing to me was all the girls there. They were all so inspiring, intelligent, engaged, and very supportive of one each other. They stayed with each other. During my Tech Trek, I made my hat. I wish I still had it today, but sadly my cat decided that it would be a good place to lay on it and chew it up. And I wish I could have tried and salvaged what was left of it, but at the point it was just so messed up, I decided to throw it away. During my hat making it, something I struggled with was making the windmill on top spin, but after getting some great help from the volunteers and some of the students even, I got it to work. My hat had a blinking light, a blinking red light, and a windmill at the top to show, and then some paper cutouts of gender equality symbols working together, nature, to show the importance of how we need gender equality and working together to save the environment. During my Tech Trek, I did a lot of optional workshops. All of them were great and I took a lot from them, but one of them that stood out to me the most was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It was about the astrophysicist and she talked about a lot of very interesting stuff, but the stuff that stood out to me the most was probably when she spoke about the decisions she made in life and how she got there and how she chose her career. And that really stood out to me. I could relate to it a lot, and it was just a great kind of thing to listen to. It was inspirational, and I could choose a lot from it. And thank you everyone so much. It was an amazing experience. I would recommend it to anyone to do it. And I'm so glad I got to do it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a 9th grader at Rev here in Redlands. And originally, when she was chosen, she was at Clement. And her name is Gabby Vasquez. And Gabby, come on up. She does have a hat, so you get to see how they work.
Hi, my name is Gabby. This year I'm a freshman at Redlands East Valley.
Can you just read it for her?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk on behalf of Gabby, and then Gabby will join midway. Hi, my name is Gabby Vasquez. This year, I'm a freshman at Redlands East Valley High School. When I was in 7th grade at Clement Middle School, I was nominated to represent my school at the annual AAUW Tech Trek. I was really excited when my counselor, Mrs. Slick, called me to her office and told me the news. I had a chance to attend this really awesome STEAM conference for girls at a college during the summertime. I felt honored that my teachers had recommended me. Mrs. Slick helped me and the other 7th grade girls that were nominated prepare and practice to get ready for our interview. When it came time for the interview, all of the AUW ladies were very kind and made me feel very comfortable. When I found out that I had been chosen to attend Tech Trek, I was so excited. I had been interested in science and technology for a few years, and I was thrilled to find out that I had to go to Whittier College for a full week. I was also a little excited to get a little vacation from my brothers. Wow. You just nailed it. Unfortunately, COVID hit and we were not able to attend. I felt sad that I was going to miss out on all this great opportunity. The ladies of AUW were really very nice and felt bad as well. They sent us a really cute AUW teddy bear and a book about women in science. I miss that teddy bear. I thought that was the end of it, but I got an email next year in 8th grade that I was going to be able to attend the Tech Trek camp virtually the upcoming summer. The ladies of AAW created a grab and go kit full of materials for us for our upcoming virtual trip. They had many fun and exciting classes to offer, and I learned many new things in STEAM. Some interesting classes they had ranged from building, researching, coding, and an inspirational art to learn about all the women involved in the STEAM jobs. One of my favorite classes were the secrets of Rubik cubes. They had a girl that could solve a Rubik cube challenge in under 30 seconds. They taught us how to solve a Rubik cube and walked us through the steps. I really enjoyed this class and still have fun now continuing to play with the Rubik's cube and getting better at it. And I know you're giving a hard time to your brothers with that. Good one. Another activity I enjoyed was the coding and constructing of our hats. I had a fun time designing my own hat and coding it to make a wearable tech invention. I like how we had challenges to put into our hat, like how it had to represent our team's sustainable goal, including our interest and our values, and use a servo and an LED. One of my favorite extracurricular activities is the YMCA circus, where I perform on the lyra, doing stunts on a floating hula hoop. I knew I wanted to include this to my project. I included all of these aspects onto my hat. My hat showed my value, athletics, my interest, the circus, our sustainable goal, climate action, and included a servo and LED lights. Both athletics and the YMCA circus were shown by the spinning woman on the top. Both athletics and the YMCA circus were shown by the spinning woman on the top in the lyra. The woman in the lyra represents my value and interest. It also uses a servo to make it spin. The whole hat was made into the earth, showing the sustainable goal, climate action. Then I had 2 LED lights shining onto the lyra like spotlights in a show. Does it work? Oh, okay. I want to thank AAW for putting together this really awesome opportunity for girls. I truly learned a lot. This camp helped me learn new skills and find new interest in STEAM. Many of these girls I will carry with me throughout the life. I'm thankful I had the opportunity to do this camp. As much as I would have loved to go to a college for a week, I'm happy the women in AAW put all this work to step up a fun, interactive virtual camp for girls. Thank you again. No, I need you and Dr. Wagner.
All right. That was fantastic. And again, I didn't have to do much. Everybody on the team did it for me. Yes. Okay. Okay. We also have 2 scholarship programs that we fund each year. One of them is the Nancy Yell Memorial Scholarship. Nernie Miller, who served as the chairwoman of the project last year, is going to give you an overview of what we were able to accomplish. And she too has a guest she wants to introduce. Nernie? Let me bring up your slide here.
So I'm, like Fiona said, I'm Nernie Miller, and I'm the chair of the Nancy Yell Memorial Scholarship. There are a couple, oh, sorry, thank you, Martha. You get so used to wearing it. There are a couple of things we had to do differently last year with the scholarship. One, we had to think about how we were going to get the word out to all the schools. We've had people visit, we've had people come to meetings. So there's a lot of ways prior to last year that we had to reach out to potential candidates. So last year we had to expand that, and we did it virtually. We visited classrooms through Zoom. We had a broader application window of time for people to apply so they could find out about it. We even made the selection process through Zoom. One evening we got together, looked at all the applicants, and selected our 2 recipients. One of the things I was really fortunate in doing this last year was virtually meeting these 2 lovely young women. They're dynamos, and by expanding our search parameters, we expanded it to include not only living in this area, but also if you go to school in this area. So there were some students who lived outside of the area, but they go to school in one of our local universities. And so we had a broader pool of candidates, and I think we got some incredible recipients because we were able to have a wider scope of participants. There are 2 scholarships that are given. One is for an associate's degree. It's a $1,000 scholarship. And one is for a bachelor's or postgraduate degree. And we were able to do one of each of those last year. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So I've got our 2 candidates here, Dominique and Cynthia. So Cynthia, do you want to go first? And they're going to tell you a little bit about what the scholarship allowed them to do last year and what they're doing now. So this is Cynthia. And then following her will be Dominique, and she will share with you what she's doing. So that's her. So I will back up here. Oops. What am I doing? Oh, sorry. There we go. We'll go back here. So come on up, Cynthia.
I'm scared.
That's all right. You're fine.
My name is Cynthia de los Santos. I'm a single mom, aerospace engineer major, physics major, math major, aircraft mechanic graduate, and I'm also poor. And for me, what that means is I photocopy my pages, I take pictures of my pages, and I use a whiteboard for my math. And I had a scientific calculator. And I was a math and science tutor on campus part-time. So sometimes for tests, I would leave my ID and borrow a calculator. What this scholarship meant for me is I had all my books this last year, plenty of paper, fancy big pens, and my most prized possession, a color graphing calculator. And I also signed up for an NCOS NASA program, and I was selected as a top performer to come back for a virtual on-site program, but it costs money. So I had my funding and I didn't think about it twice. I sent in my money and I received a certificate from NASA, but that's not it. I got mentors from NASA. I got connected with other students like me, and now I'm in L Space. I'm the materials engineer and business lead for my team. And I now qualify for the Lucy internship this summer. I've also applied to JPL and Gateway. So you opened doors for me, you gave me books, and I still have $200 left. Thank you.
So one of the things I loved about Cynthia's story is that she had needs that we weren't aware of, right? We think they're going to use scholarships for tuition or living expenses, but she actually was able to get the equipment that she needed to participate in her courses, and that is remarkable. So our next speaker is Dominique Martinez.
So hi, like Cynthia, I heard about this program through Thrive Single Moms, and I was very fortunate at that time. Of course, it's no mystery that we all went through a pandemic. And so as a single mother, I did the best that I could. I pulled my daughter from her school. We were at Sacred Heart down the street, and we decided to homeschool. So I homeschooled her, and I decided to make lemons out of lemonade and go back and finish my master program. I had already had my first credential in adult teaching. So now I was able to finish my second. So I'm a master of secondary education graduate with an emphasis in STEM. And thank goodness to this program, because I was able to finish that and, like Cynthia, pay for my books, pay for the remaining portion of the college, and not have to stress out about the finances within that time, because it was very stressful. So now I am an executive manager for a nationally owned tutoring company. I mentor instructors, and we focus on reaching out to socioeconomically disadvantaged youth. So we service Title I companies, and I run all of the programs and work as a liaison with schools and districts all around the nation. And I also teach in Vietnam early in the morning at the crack of dawn. So at 2 o'clock, I am up when everyone is asleep. So from 2 to 7 o'clock, I teach from Vietnam to China. And then I am right on as an executive manager, mentoring instructors after that. So I absolutely love it. I think this changed my perspective and refocused me on teaching. And thank you so much, Ms. Miller. I appreciate it.
And so the thing I loved about Dominique's story is that we thought we were giving $2,000 to Dominique, right, to expand her career, to finish her credential, but really we were impacting girls and women internationally, and that is a beautiful thing. So thank you.
All right, the other scholarship program that we fund each year is the high school scholarships. And 3 of those scholarships are funded through the Redlands Community Scholarship Foundation. I happen to be serving on the board of that foundation, and this year I am the president of the board of the Redlands Community Scholarship Foundation. So I have a lot to do with those scholarships that are being given out. Teresa Lance was and is the chairwoman of this project for us, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about the project last year and its successes. Teresa?
Okay, yeah, this is good. Yeah. Thank you. We started 5 years ago, whenever I was president. It was sort of a mission that I wanted. You know, we have college scholarships, we have Tech Trek, we have a lot of things, but we didn't have anything for high school girls. So we started 5 years ago with one $500 scholarship. This past year, we awarded 3 $500 scholarships, and we just started with 2 $250 scholarships to Orangewood. So thank you for your generosity. And our recipients are at college. So I'll just sort of let you know if I can have it. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, that's okay. But I was going to give you a little background, but maybe not. Okay. Maybe not. Anyway, these are our recipients and they're all outstanding candidates. So please continue to give generously so that we can continue our high school scholarships. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on. See, we have lots to celebrate. Although not all of our interest groups could continue to meet last year, for example, the Bunko group and the Bridge group couldn't meet, of course, we had several programs and interest groups that did continue to meet. And first, we have a very popular reading interest group called Reading and the Rainbow. And thanks to Zoom, they continued to meet last year. So Amy Bysick was the chairwoman of that interest group, and she's going to talk about what they were able to accomplish during the pandemic year. Amy?
Hi, everybody. Actually, I co-lead with Catherine Brown for this group. And when I was a kid, my mom used to say that you first learn to read and then you read to learn. And that is kind of a moniker, I think, for Reading in the Rainbow, because every year we go through a process of selecting books and then voting on them. And the array of different topics that we are reading about is vast. And that's one of the things that I love about a book club. So I was really pleased that last year through Zoom, we continued to have our once a month, 2 meetings on the 4th Thursday of book club. And we had robust attendance. Folks were highly engaged during the calls. And so it was great. And it just felt seamless. So this year we are going to continue, of course, and the first 3 months we've committed to having a Zoom, one of our meetings be a Zoom call and the other one be in person. And then we'll reassess as we go into 2021, because a lot of folks like the Zoom format. And so we're continuing to offer that so that people can participate. And if you want to participate, just give Catherine or myself a call. Thanks.
Okay. Another popular interest discussion group is I Am, Therefore I Think. And they too were able to utilize Zoom thanks to Tony Momberger. And Tony has stepped up to take the leadership of this group last year, and she's now going to tell us more about the meetings last year and what they were able to accomplish. Tony?
Sure. So I was not the chair of this interest group. It historically had been Ellen Schollenberger, most recently it had been Ellen Schollenberger, and she was running it with Charlene Lund, and then Charlene stepped down and Victoria Norberg took over. And right at the beginning of the year, Ellen took a bad spill and ended up moving out to Orange County. So Victoria was running it on her own, and Victoria does not Zoom. So she called me frantically. I think she might have put out a note. I don't remember, to the entire group, but she said, I can't run this interest group this year. I think it's only going to be a couple of months. Can somebody offer to facilitate for the first couple of months? Does anybody know how to use Zoom who can do this? So I said, I have an account, and I set it up, and we did the first couple of meetings the way we always do. We start off in September with Nelda leading us in a discussion of people's clippings that they bring in, editorials and articles that they've picked out over the summer. And then we went in October. Pamela Ong led us in a discussion of the books on our nightstand. And we did it over Zoom. But we had to revamp because the speakers that had been scheduled for the year at the annual planning luncheon, it wasn't going to come together. It wasn't going to work. So we had a new planning meeting via Zoom, and we came up with some pandemic related programs. We had a meeting in November to talk about how we were coping with the pandemic, what strategies we had adopted to get through it with our sanity. And then in January, we had a wonderful discussion on what happy consequences have been coming out of the pandemic. And it was really nice to hear a lot of people said they felt closer with their spouse. And a lot of people said that they've been able to spend more quality time with their children or loved ones who live in other states since this has started, because they're getting together virtually a lot. One of the other things that happened was that people were attending who were traveling. We had people attend, I am therefore, I think, from other states because they were spending pandemic months with family elsewhere. So it was nice. We moved on to, in February, we had a discussion about racism, which was heavy, but it was really great. And then we had one on gun control that, or I should say on gun violence, that was kind of by request. And it was great. We had a diversity of perspective there and a diversity of opinions on what we should be doing and what we should be regulating. It was a fantastic conversation. So I think the year was a pretty good success. We had some months that weren't well attended, but we had some months that we had more people there than I think we've seen in person before. So we carried on, and then Victoria said at the end of the year, I can't be the facilitator anymore, and I have now officially taken over to run the group, and we're looking for topics and people to run the meetings for the starting in January. So hit me up if you got something. But anyway, that's what we got.
Okay, we also have another discussion group for many years. It's called Great Decisions. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that because I've been directly involved in it. For the last couple of years, Sue Ferguson and I have organized these discussion groups. Even though we could not meet in person, we were able to continue through Zoom meeting and discussing the articles that we are providing. Great Decisions is sponsored by the American Foreign Policy Association. And each year they publish a booklet that has 8 articles in it on very current foreign policy issues. And we have 2 discussion groups, one that meets on Monday afternoons and one that meets on Wednesday evenings. I handle the one on the Monday afternoon and Sue handles the one on Wednesday evenings. Because the booklet is not published until January of each year, we don't begin our discussions until March and April. But of course, last year we had to do those discussions on Zoom. Everyone involved purchased the booklet, and the leader of each group purchased a DVD of 8 short films on the chosen topics. The topics from last year included global supply chain, Brexit and the EU, and the 2 Koreas were just 3 examples. Each participant reads the article each week. We meet on Zoom and even figured out how to view the films on Zoom. And the discussions were very enlightening and very lively. So the only thing that we missed last year were the refreshments that we couldn't provide for each other because we were meeting on Zoom. But Great Decisions is meeting again this year. So if you're interested, either contact me or Sue Ferguson, and we'll get you involved in this great discussion group. No, we're going to meet in person this year. Yeah. We want those desserts. Okay. The next group is, we were even managed to start a new discussion group for AAUW last year. And this was the racial justice discussion group. And Erica, who was our current president, was the one that was responsible for help getting this started. And so she's going to tell you a little bit more about what this particular group did last year during the pandemic and how they are continuing to function this year. Okay, Erica.
This is a group that we started about a year ago. It was during the time when there were a lot of Black Lives Matter marches, and a lot of us, didn't feel safe going out and marching because of the pandemic. So we started this racial justice group. It started out with us reading White Fragility, which was a good choice for the first book because most of us, or I think all of us in that group, were white women. And I think we really needed to take a look at what our own white privilege is, and what white fragility means. And the first group that we had was, I think we had 20, 25 people there. It's whittled down a little bit, but the group that we have now is very committed to reading, to doing a lot of reading about racial justice. These are some of the books that we read and discussed. And I would like to say, if any of you are interested in continuing, I think that for now we're going to continue on Zoom. And we're going to meet the first time this fall. We're going to meet October, I think it's Thursday, the 21st, as I just sent out an email to all of the members. Some of you have been getting word about our meetings because you've signed up at some point, but it means that you get an opportunity to see what we're doing, what we're reading, and maybe some of you have had a chance to read the books, even if you don't come and discuss them. But I say to a lot of people who say, oh, but I didn't read the book. I say, come anyway, because the discussions are worth listening to. It's worth coming and asking questions and talking about what your own experience with racism has been. I think if there's one book that everybody should read that's on this list, it's Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. It's just a remarkable book about what the history of racism in America has been. And she explains it and she explains it as a caste system, which is, I think, somewhat unique because we don't generally think about our world and our society as being a caste system, but it's a wonderful book. So if you have a chance, read that. I also have a whole, I think some of you were able to pick it up last month when we had the tables, but I have a list of books, and if you want me to email it to you, just let me know and I can send it to you. We are going to be meeting, like I said, Thursday, October 20, what day is it? 21st. So, and we're going to continue to do it on Zoom. Thank you.
All right. We also have two other programs that we sponsor, Chat and Adult Literacy. They were able to continue some of their activities last year also. Diane Shimoda couldn't be here with us this evening, so Catherine Gifford is going to tell us about both of those programs and how they survived the pandemic. Okay, Catherine. Oh, yeah, sorry.
I wasn't sure which program was going to come up first, so I had to pause. All right. Chat, I hope everyone knows, helps women that come to this country and want to practice their conversational English. For example, today I met with a woman from Syria. She's lived here 4 years, and she's an artist by training, and she'd like to get a job in art in this country. And she just needs to improve her conversational English so she can relax and express herself. So we did fun things during the, so if you're interested, contact me afterwards. I'd love to have a partner for her. We did fun things like a recipe book all over Zoom. We read books together and talked about them. And it's always interesting to see the contrast in views by different countries. We have people from about, I'd say 10 different countries: Italy, Syria, Iran, Russia, China, Mexico, Peru, Costa Rica, Guatemala. You know, it's just a wonderful thing to hear everybody's perspective when they're from different parts of the world. We celebrated by playing games, because again, it was over Zoom, but that was fun. We talk about great places to visit, and you can imagine, as they're representing their countries, what they're able to share. And we practiced idioms. I had never realized how many idioms we use. until you're speaking to a foreign person and they're taking you literally by the words and it doesn't make any sense. So it's just a very fun and interesting group. We're planning to meet monthly as a group over Zoom, but there are members here that have a chat partner. This is how AUW helps, by having a volunteer who is matched with a chatee, someone who wants to improve their conversational English. And then they get to meet in whatever way is comfortable for them. If they want to go to the park, I've seen Carol Buchanan with her chatee in the park with the baby, and it's terrific. They can go out for coffee. They can talk by telephone. It's whatever those two people want to do at their own convenience. And I want to recognize Sharon Beeler, who is the generator of enthusiasm for a summer writing class that we did that was in person. And again, group over Zoom, individually one-on-one. So that's great. I think we can switch to adult literacy. Okay. So on adult literacy, I'm kind of glad that Diana's in here so I can really toot her horn, because I do not think we would have had as strong, because she wouldn't have done it, but I can. We have such a strong program in Redlands because of Diane Shimoda. Many of the programs, as you can imagine, adult literacy, you're usually sitting side by side and assisting people in terms of their reading and writing skills. And because of Diane's strong diligence, we continued to meet by Zoom, by phone, by whatever it took in order to keep going as the library was closed. And it's really due to Diane's leadership, because she would train everyone, even those that didn't know anything about Zoom. She would drop off materials to make sure that they had the materials that they needed. So she really saved the program in a very difficult time. And I can attest that other programs have not fared so successfully. So when you see Diane, give her a hug or a high five. She's really been terrific. Now that the library is open, we have started meeting again in the library. In fact, I should do a quick aside. I had one learner that I got during the COVID period who I didn't meet for 6 months. I didn't know what she looked like. We did it all by telephone. So, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. We just kept working on literacy. With the library being open, now we're meeting in the library, though some tutors are more hesitant about meeting in public places, and they are continuing to meet over Zoom. So we have a program that accommodates any situation. We have started going to Clement Middle School. I don't know if our people from Redlands left. I was going to say thank you, but thank you. And also to the YMCA, because we do some offsite group teaching. Just to point out some of these pictures, in the upper left, one of our learners, Anna Alcounter, who's graduated, led the Pledge of Allegiance at the State of the Community breakfast, lunch, whatever they have. And I just was so touched that the confidence that is gained through literacy. She has her own business with her husband. She's able to speak on behalf of literacy and also in front of groups. It's just been a wonderful experience to see her growth. We also have a picture of Don McHugh, our library director, with one of our learners, and she's holding the 4th anthology. The anthology is writings that the adult learners have written about their own experience. It's so real, if I may say, direct, honest, and we'll be making them available at Family Day on Saturday, as well as at the library, and we'll bring some so that they can be shared with this wonderful group that has supported both adult literacy and chat. You have been very pivotal players in the success of the program. And you can see our Zoom picture and other meetings that have been going on. the best spokespeople I always think are those that volunteer with chat and adult literacy. So if you could raise your hands, that way anybody at your table can ask you any questions. And I also want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for bringing adult literacy and chat to our community. Thank you.
All right. Another sponsored activity that we have each year is we sponsor, the Redlands branch sponsors hosting several college women to attend NICWSL, which stands for the National Conference for College Women Student Leaders. Now, Susan Bangasser and Pam Ford are in charge of that program, but they couldn't be here this evening. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because it was really significant because of the problem that came up because of the pandemic. Although NICWSL was not in person, it was held online. Usually we only send 2 college women, one from the Crafton Hills College and one from the University of Redlands. But because the expenses for the online program was so much less last year, not only were we able to fund the 2 young ladies who missed NICWSL when it was canceled in the spring of 2020, but we were also able to send 8 more young women in 2021 because it was online. So Susan and Pam plan on having several of those young college girls attend our November branch meeting, and you can hear from them directly about their experiences with NICWSL. Normally, we have several major fundraising projects to provide funds for the projects that we have adopted. The quarantine made some of those traditional fundraisers difficult, but we managed to find unique ways to raise the money that we needed. First, our annual Footlighters Night had to be modified, and Catherine Bown, as the chair of the AAUW Fund, is responsible for this fundraiser. Catherine is going to talk to you about the unique way we pulled this off last year. Catherine? Oh, sorry. No, that's the best. Yeah, there's the Footlighters.
Yeah. No, there's 2.
Yeah, I didn't show the NICWSL one, did I? Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay, there we go. For over 20 years, AAUW Redlands has held an annual Footlighters Theater event. Because the pandemic prevented indoor events, the Footlighters built an outdoor stage with distance seating in their parking lot. In October 2020, we partnered with the Unity Dance Company, made up primarily of dance students from frustrated dance students from Cal State San Bernardino, who were eager for a rare chance to perform during the pandemic. Next slide. The AAUW Fund Committee sold tickets, provided COVID-safe refreshments and seating for the members who felt comfortable attending, and many other members unable to attend supported our efforts with donations. There we go. This year, the Footlighters are back on the indoor stage, and we will join them Thursday evening, October 14th, for our pre-theater event, which features music, wine, and snacks. The play is Murder Room, and tickets are $35, and they're for sale tonight, and also from many members of the committee. Thank you.
All right. Tony Momberger had volunteered to take on some fundraising projects for us. And so the board appointed her to the newly created fundraising chairwoman position. And Tony is going to talk to us about 2 special fundraising activities that we were able to develop despite our quarantine limitations. Tony?
Sure. I'm going to throw in first that I emailed the Kiwanis. I know they have a program. I had invited then Mayor Paul Foster to our special anniversary STEM conference event a couple of years ago, and he was really moved by it. So we opened a dialogue, and I reached out to Kiwanis. So the very first fundraising thing we did was they sponsored Tech Trek students. They intended to sponsor 2 of them by sending us a check for $1,000, but I think it paid for a lot more because it was virtual. So that was the first of the fundraising things we embarked on. A couple of years ago, also Patty Ahern got the idea. You'll be seeing a lot more of the pins in a minute, but when AAUW had a major milestone anniversary a couple of years ago, everybody who was having a milestone that year got a free pin indicating which milestone, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, that they had been a member. And that was only a one-time thing. And she said, well, couldn't this be ongoing? And couldn't we be the only people that sell this? And AAUW National said, sure. So we are now the only people that sell these pins, and we're bringing money in every year. I sit down once a year and I email the membership chair and the president of every branch in California. And I say, here's what we've got going. Here's how you can buy them. And wouldn't you love to get some? And I thought, boy, during the pandemic, if they're not meeting in person, this might be a trick for them to sell because they are physical objects that need to be presented. But we sold more last year than we've ever sold. So I'm excited to say that this year we're leaving the limits of California and we'll be selling nationwide. And so I expect we'll have to invest more in pins, but we pay about, I'm not sure, 15 cents a pin, and we sell them for $5 each. It's a good project for us. And when we run out, we will have come ahead with a big profit. And the last thing is, and this was just something that entered my head, but thank goodness we had the support here within the branch with Sue and with Priya to pull this off. But people come to me all the time because I am a huge ghost story nut. And I've been collecting stories of major hauntings in town since I was a kid. And somebody always comes to me before Halloween and says, hey, can you tell me about all the hauntings in Redlands? Can you guide me to I get journalists all the time. Can you help me write a story about all the hauntings in Redlands? And I always say, no, I don't want to do that. But this year it occurred to me that with Zoom, we could do a fundraiser. I called Sue up and said, would you object to my putting together a Halloween fundraiser? We sold tickets for $20 each. We did a webinar. We did not have the ability to accept online payments as a branch, but between Sue and Priya, they figured out how to do it through Facebook, where Facebook accepted the money, but we got it all. And we used our Zoom account, and I don't know how they did this witchcraft, but they made it work. And it took me about, I think we put this thing online to advertise it about 3 or 4 days before the event. We immediately got $1,000. It took me maybe half an hour to put it together and an hour to deliver it. And there we were, and that was really fun. And people are already asking me if we're doing it again. I've got some more ghost stories I could add. I would love to put one together on murders in Redlands. I would love to just keep talking about scary stuff. But anyway, so we're ongoing. If you have more ideas for fundraising, I'd love to hear them. I keep thinking of new ways we could raise money. It's all pretty easy, low investment stuff. And I'm having fun with it. And I hope that if anybody needs money for anything, that you'll call me up and say, Tony, I got this project I want to do for the branch, and I need about $300, and I'll come up with a way to get it for you. So anyway, that's that.
All right. Another big fundraising project that we have every year is LunaFest. And although LunaFest had to be postponed in the spring of 2020, we were able to develop an online project with them and with the Zonta Club, who is our co-sponsors. And we did host a LunaFest in the fall of 2020 and the spring of 2021, but we did it online. So Heather Abishanab is going to explain how Zonta Club and Redlands were AAUW were able to continue this project. Heather.
So normally we hold LunaFest in the spring, usually in April. And usually we hold it at the Esri Auditorium. And of course, in March of 2020, we were just about done with all our plans. And in fact, we'd sold tickets. And I remember someone asking me when I was selling the tickets, is this really going to happen? You're not going to cancel, right? And I said, oh no, we're not going to cancel. It's definitely on. And then about a week after that, it wasn't on anymore. So we had to kind of scramble. Of course, we weren't able to put it on right then in the spring, but throughout the summer, we kind of were in communication with the Luna Fest organization who provides the films for us. And they were kind of struggling or scurrying around to try to figure out a kind of online platform, because of course LunaFest all over the country was being canceled because no one could hold anything in person. So in the fall, we determined that, yeah, you know what, we might as well go ahead and try an online event. What's the worst that could happen? It's a low investment kind of thing. And the worst that could happen is nobody decides to buy the tickets, and we're not really out anything because we didn't pay for food or anything like that, which we normally do for the in-person event. So we were able to hold the event in the in the fall. Let's see. And that first event earned us, grossed about $4,000. And we split that money between Zonta and AAUW, who are our partners in this activity. And each club got about $1,800 after we covered all our expenses, which were pretty minimal for this particular activity. So we were pleased with the response to that event, and we decided to go ahead and plan a second event for our regular time frame in 2021, which was right around in April. So we held a second online event in 2021. This time LunaFest had gotten their act together a little bit better and paired with an organization called, I don't know, movie event or something, Eventive, something like that, which just was a little bit friendlier in terms of actually getting to the films, which had been a challenge for some people. And so we had another relatively successful event in 2021 in the spring. This summer, we've been in conversation with the with Zonta Club, and everybody is really, really hopeful that we can do this as a live event in April next year. So we are targeting that anyway. We won't be planning too heavily until we get to January, because that's when we can request our date from the LunaFest organization. But at the moment, we're headed towards having an in-person event. And hopefully COVID will cooperate with us and people will feel comfortable coming to an indoor live film event again, because we did, although the event was financially successful, we did feel like we missed some of the joy of that event, which is, you know, just getting together, seeing people in the community, and pulling people from all different walks of life into this one event, which celebrates women in film, movies that are about women, movies that are created by women, but that everyone can enjoy. So we're looking forward to that event coming back to us in person in 2022.
Okay. And each year we celebrate in the spring by announcing our named gift honorees. And even though this had to be done online through our webinar, we were still able to do it. And Catherine Brown will explain how she, quite sneakily, I might say, was able to pull this off. Catherine?
So as AAUW Fund Chair, I, in addition to doing the Footlighters fundraiser, I head the committee that picks the named gift honorees, which is a program, which is a way to pay tribute to branch members for extraordinary service to our branch of AAUW. For each $750 that the branch contributes annually to the AAUW fund, 3 branch members are selected to receive this honor. It's funded by our Footlighters theater event. In 21-22, the AAUW fund nationally had awarded nearly $5 million in fellowships and grants to 260 women and community projects, 35 of which are right here in California. So we have a meeting of all the women who have been awarded the named gift honoree award over the years. And we talk together and vote and decide, it's usually unanimous, who in the branch has contributed and deserves to be honored for that year. And this year the honorees' identities are kept secret until they are announced at a monthly meeting, which is a real trick, since one of them was our last year's president, Sue Wallace, to keep it a secret from her that at her meeting, we were going to announce her as one of the honorees was a real trick. Another nominee or honoree was Cindy Perkins, who worked with the Redlands Unified School District on the STEM conference. And the third honoree was Amy Bizik. It's also kind of a trick to keep her in the dark, since she was doing a lot of the Zoom work and it was going to be at one of those meetings. We were able to get flowers delivered during the meeting to two of the three awardees because it happened on a Saturday morning. Amy got hers the next day. So here they are with the flowers that they were awarded as our named gift honorees. And it was very well deserved. Thank you.
Yes, my flowers arrived in the middle of the announcement that I had been named as a named gift honoree. So that was, my doorbell rang and I thought, okay, who's that? You know, and so that really worked out great. Thanks. And now I'm going to add two more women's names to this celebration. And I would never have been able to pull off those branch webinars if it was not for these two women who became my wonder women of the AAUW pandemic. And so they are Priya Vidula and Kay Dobberton. Priya is our communications vice president, and she was so helpful with the webinar and Zoom and all that kind of stuff. I just owe her so much. And Kay Dobberton is the editor of our Branches and Twigs. Anytime I had a problem with the webinar or needed help posting on Facebook or our Facebook page or updating our website or anything on that, Priya was always there to help, despite the fact that she started to medical school and got married last year at the same time. So thank you, Priya. And she was a lifesaver. And Kay was my rock. Anytime I had questions about policies and procedures or anything, I would email or call Kay, and she always knew the answer or knew someone who did. So thanks for all of your help. And ladies, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. And so now we are going to celebrate our members. We did note last year in our newsletter those members who had earned membership pins, but we were not able to give those pins to you because of the pandemic. So that's what we're going to do this evening. And Sue Ferguson and Eileen Sanborn are going to announce the pins, what pins are your pins are being awarded, and have those ladies stand up or come forward. Come forward, okay, because I know they want to take pictures. So here's Eileen and Sue.
Well, everybody needs to get their muscles moving. It's been a long meeting, but we always like to save the best for last, don't we? We had 54 members who celebrated anniversaries over the last 2 years. Normally, this is awarded in June, but we know where June of 2020 went, and we know where June of 2021 went. So here we are. Unfortunately, not all 54 are here, but we have the best with us. And this award is every 5 years. You know, what did someone say? It was a great time, or a woman's great decisions is when they're born and then finding out what they're supposed to do with that. Well, let's add on, when you join AAUW, it's another great decision. So we have the slides, and what we're going to do is I want everyone to line up across here. Not everybody's here, so I'm going to read through all the names, and when your name is called, just come up here, and we have a special pin made for us by our Redlands branch. So okay. Well, okay. Where is it? Oh, okay. And anyway, starting with 5 years, joined in 2014, Carol Cheney, Denise Davis, Gabriel Duff, Virginia Evans Perry, Kay Fangaro, Rosa Gomez, Barbara Kraus, Christina Marnell, Jennifer Nelson, Erica Paddock, Nina Sprangrud, Denise Spencer, Nina? Yep. Yay, our first one. Sandy Sukalski, Kathy Warren. In 2015 for 5 years, Susan Bangasser, Paula Ferry Milligan, Mary Lou Guerrera, Stephanie Harlan, Joyce Heitmeyer, Martha Lehman, Kate Pretorius, Linda Richards, Diane Shimoda. Oh, I can make it. I can't make it. Barbara Simmons, Carol Townsend, Patricia Zapia. Okay, and then moving on to 10 years, joining in 2009, Gail Anderson. Gail here, yeah. Diane Bennett, Linda Browning, Nancy Ernie, Rebecca Johnston, Charlene Lunn, Carol McDonald, Ann Sandel, Jean Shelvin, and then 10 years, joining in 2010, Ann Leonard, Denise Westcott, Sue Young. In 15 years, joined in 2004, Deb Sidley. Okay, and joining in 2005, Dolores Barrett, Jane Henry, Linda Rowland. Linda's there. And then for 20 years, joined in 1999, Sharon Beeler, Kathy Toyster. Then we have 25 years, joined in 1995, Kimberly Cousins, Kathy Curtis Odegaard, Catherine Schilling, Erica Wilson. I don't know, 25 years. I forgot to mention Betty Meltzer. She was not here. And then 30 years, joined in 1990, Jan Jacobson. Jan, she was here. Pamela Ong. Pamela here. Yeah. And Irene Vitt. And we have a really nice letter that Irene Vitt wrote. And she said, I was calling, I have been out of town. And when I returned home, I found your kind invitation for the next meeting on October 5th. And where you're going to recognize those of us who have been in AAUW for many, many years. I won't be able to attend, but I want to thank you so much for acknowledging that. And I really have enjoyed being a member of AAUW for all these 30 years. At this point, I'm not going to be able to come to any more meetings because I'm moving in a few months to North Carolina. But I have enjoyed knowing all of you, and thank you so much for those many wonderful years. Take care. Bye-bye. So that's from Irene Vitt. Okay, and then we're going to skip over 50. Alita West has been a member for 60 years. And unfortunately, Alita can't be here tonight, but we want to recognize her. So all of these wonderful ladies, we're going to. Sure, we're going to get to. Okay. But 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And it's been wonderful. So congratulations. No, she didn't come. Okay.
She said it didn't show up.
Oh, good. All right. Okay, but stay there. Because we have a golden girl with us tonight, Shar Burgess. 50 years. Yes. I think Shar is well known throughout the University of Redlands. Congratulations on retirement. Thank you. Thank you for being a member of this wonderful organization. And National would like to recognize you. They have, yes, National AAUW. And this letter is signed by Kimberly Churches, who we see on all of these emails and important information. She's the Chief Executive Officer. And Julia T. Brown is the board chair. They write, "Dear Charlotte, congratulations. In recognition of your 50-year commitment as a member of the AAUW, I am pleased to award you the status Honorary Life Member. Thank you for your outstanding commitment to AAUW, a community that breaks through educational and economic barriers so that all women have a fair chance. As an honorary life member, you are exempt from paying future AAUW national dues. Similar dues exemptions are granted by the state of California and the Redlands, California branch also. It's worth it. That's why I say she's the golden girl. Her pockets are just now overflowing. Please find enclosed your honorary life certificate. We hope you will display it where others can appreciate your commitment to AAUW. Again, congratulations for your achievement of 50 years of membership with AAUW. We look forward to your continued participation for years to come. And here is the honorary life member certifying Charlotte G. Burgess has shown a strong commitment to education and equity for women and girls through 50 years of membership in the American Association of University Women and is entitled to lifetime complimentary national membership. So.
I don't think you get the free meal.
Yeah. Yes. So, last but not least, the Redlands branch has this beautiful plaque that we would like to give to you.
Oh, Charlotte.
Sure.
Trade, because you don't want to be below that.
That's right.
This says AAUW Empowering Women since 1891, 50th Golden Jubilee Award presented to Shar Burgess, a celebration of 50 years of consecutive membership in AAUW. I wanted to add Redlands branch.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of celebrating. I've been here a lot.
Do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to tell anyone?
Well, I'll just say thank you. I really do appreciate it. I think this is such an important organization. I haven't been here a lot because I had a job and a half most of the time. But now that I'm retired, I hope I can come more often. And I really appreciate all that you all are doing. It's great. Thank you.
Deb, did you get enough pictures? Oh. Yeah, well, she's checking her pictures because we can't let you go until because we won't get this illustrious group together up here on stage.
The batteries are dying. Oh, do you want to?
Okay, is that it? Okay, thank you. Spirit. And this and all the rest of that.
Oh, you have one.
Box and all that, yes. Thank you. And here is your official letter and certificate. Oh,
Now I got one more. Hold on. Okay. Got one more slide to go through here. And this one is for all you members who stepped up to keep Redlands AAUW active during the pandemic. Redlands, there are women who make things better simply by showing up. There are women who make things happen. There are women who make a difference. And there are women who make us smile. There are women who through strength and courage make it through. All of these are women who are part of the Redlands AAUW. Celebrate yourselves. Give yourselves a hand. Thank you. It was a joy putting this together for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Sue. We need to have a really short business meeting since this has been a long meeting, but I think that most of the interest groups really came up and talked during Sue's presentation. Are there any of the interest groups who did not get a chance to say something? Okay.
I'm kind of like Luna Fest. I'm saying we are going to do it in person. So I hope it's for sure we are going to do it, but it's the Y home tour. So if you want to be a docent with us on December 5th, there were 19 of you that signed up at the September meeting. That's fantastic. And so I'm always looking for anyone that wants to be a docent with us. We tell somebody, they walk through the rooms and we're just in the room so that the homeowners can feel at ease when they're leaving. And then we just give them a piece of information about the room. So everyone has fun doing it, and all the money made from the Y home tour goes to the legal aid. It's in the newsletter that Kay's putting out. So you've read about the legal aid, and it's all a good thing, and we feel good about helping the Y. So if you want to add your name to my list, let me know. Thank you.
So you heard from our two recipients tonight for the Nancy Gallo Memorial Scholarship, and we have to raise money to make that happen. So I want to let everybody know we will be having our boutique at the November meeting. Bring cash, check. Hopefully we'll have credit card payments by then. Hopefully that will happen. It's going to be at that, like I said, the November 6th meeting. If you would like to participate in making crafts, please get in touch with me. You can bring them that morning. You can let me know. If I know you're making them ahead of time, I can send you reminders of, price things and stuff like that. And Patty Ahern has 20 of these sitting in her garage. They're really cute. I don't know what to do with them, but some of them might. So if you have an idea about making this into a crafty thing, let me know. They're little ceramic lattice. They look like little flower boxes. They're adorable. I have no clue. So if someone has an idea, let me know and Patty can get them to you. Yes. Oh, even better. Even better. We got one person who's doing these little vasey things. So if someone wants to take on ceramic lattice pots, please let me know. See you on November 6th.
Kathy Toyster, you want to say something about hiking? Right, we're gonna hike. Kathy is gonna be doing one on. So this month, what's the date? October 23rd on Saturday, and I will try doing one the following Wednesday, which I think is the 27th. So we will send out notices to everybody who has signed up. So you'll get an email about hiking. Are there any other groups that need to announce anything? All right, let's. Okay, do you want a contribution for those? No? Okay. Please take the centerpieces home. That's a reminder. There is going to be a new member coffee and dessert at Kay's house on October 20th at 7 o'clock. For all of those who are new members, they're invited, and also mentors are invited to come. It's a fun evening. I remember the last few years. Last year we couldn't do it, but it's really a fun evening. Trish, do you have anything to say about the PayPal or Square or however we're going to try and do credit cards? Yeah. Good. Trish is our president-elect. My right hand woman.
Yes, that's good to be somebody's help. You know, he walked out of here before we had a chance to give him a hand. And I have to tell you, we could not do STEM the way we do it without Luis Garcia and the U of R media department. So I'm so glad that he hung around, probably because he's going to help with this, because he's always helping us. Please give Luis a hand. He's vital. Don't know what we do without the guy. Thank you, Luis. And thanks for staying around so we could thank you. I did want to thank the greeters. And the greeters come and thank people or say hello to people as they come in the door. And it's important. It helps everybody feel welcome. And I really appreciate when you're willing to do that. Joyce Heitmeyer came and had just volunteered to do that. And Sharon Beeler, I called and she said, sure, I'd be happy to do that. I didn't know Joyce was coming, so I also called Teresa Lance. I was really trying to cover all my bases. And Teresa said she'd do that. So Teresa got to go sit down and enjoy, and probably I'll call her again is what that means. And thank you to Amber, who volunteered to help with the membership as well. Yes, and Hester, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate that. I did want to say that we are in progress with not PayPal, because we had a lengthy discussion which included Erica's son. And the general idea was that we just wanted something that people could run their card through. We weren't interested in going full board at this time with PayPal. PayPal has a lot of different sections to it and things we could do. And if it works well for us, we may want to go from Square to PayPal. We can even enlarge what we're doing with Square, but it's still in progress. And I quite hope that it's going to be available for the next meeting because of the boutique and all those sales. So we're working on it. It's in progress. Hang on.
We're going to move into the 21st century. Sooner or later. Yeah. All right. I think that's, we have the minutes from our last branch meeting, and the treasurers, the financial reports, and they're on the piano if you're interested in looking at them. But if nobody has any objections, then I'm just going to move that they be accepted for now. Is there something?
I was just going to say that instead of typing out all of the details of every presentation, now just put in the minutes that the video is available on our website. So if you want to get all the details, last time we had all those lovely facts and figures about women in medicine, but that's a lot of pages to read through. So the link, I've now put the link to the website that has the to the
So all of you who want to sit through this meeting again, you can go on and see it on. Okay, with that, our next, our board meeting is October 11th, which is next Monday. And our next branch meeting is Saturday, November 6th. So we'll see you all there, and the meeting is adjourned.